So this spoon made me drive into a national park and not speak to anyone for 2 days. True story. It is my favorite spoon for that reason. I keep it on me pretty much all the time, and actually I just went through one of those drive-through oil changes and the guy started speaking my language. He was on my frequency, and so I thought I'd whip it out and say, look, you can do it, and try to bend it back. Guess what? Nobody can. Nobody can bend this back. And that is why I had to go to a national park and just sit in silence for 2 days. So I didn't show you guys the spoon before because it's kind of boring for some people. It's just bent in half. But I want to describe the moment that I bent the spoon because I think it highlights questions that some people had, and also it's going to touch on things that I don't hear other people talk about. So when I bent the spoon, this was actually the 4th utensil I had ever bent. I was not in some happy, elevated, love and light type of space, and you can be, but I was not. And I think that's important to point out because you can do this in any sort of mood, any sort of way. You just have to believe, okay? But when I picked up the spoon, I made a decision in that moment. So even though I was sad, I was kind of bummed out, I said, I want to try to bend the thicker metal, and I believe that this could happen for me. Okay? And if it can happen for me, it can happen for you. Okay? And that's it. So that was the whole mental setup. Not a mantra, not a meditation, nothing. Just, I want to try, and I believe it's possible. Now, this thing is one of the thickest, densest utensils I've ever bent. This is not a flimsy little spoon, okay? See? It's pretty thick. Wish you could feel how heavy it is, but so it went just like putty, okay? So when I said earlier it's with my hands, it's because what typically happens, there's multiple ways of doing this, and we'll talk about it more later, but the metal softens. So you guide it how you want it to go. In this case, I bent it in half, so I had my hands on it and I bent it in half, okay? The other video where I show you some of my favorites, I curled it, so I guide the metal. Again, the metal softens, and you can guide how you want it to go with your hands. But like I said, this one, you can't move it. It's immobile, okay? So the metal softens, and then it gets hard again, okay? So another thing is people ask, well, how'd it go? How did it feel? Did it feel warm? Did it gradually soften? Okay, so for me, in this moment, this spoon, I have a story. This happens differently for different people, and that is why you need to experiment, okay? You also need to try in the first place, but you need to definitely experiment, okay? For this one, it did not feel warm. For me, commonly, I don't feel any warmth before it happens. During it happens, I think I'm getting an adrenaline rush, some version of, oh my gosh, but I can sometimes feel the warmth afterwards, okay? This one, it was a sudden softening. So it suddenly got soft enough where I just squeezed it. That's it. But sometimes it's a more gradual softening. So that means it's essentially you can't bend it or manipulate it as fast. It's slower. Okay? So experiment. See what happens. Okay? Another thing that's really important to me about this story, why I mention it, is so after it happened, after it went back to solid, which to me, that's the most convincing part. The Mindsight mask, it goes back to black. All solid black. The metal goes back to being solid, hard, okay? Now, when I couldn't straighten this back out, I got in my car, I drove to a national park, a big one, with a big mountain, and I literally pulled over and spent 2 days in silence because there wasn't any cell phone reception. And I had to think about what this means about reality, what this means for me, how I wanted to communicate to other people in my life. Yeah, there was a lot of integrating, processing. So I shared this because I want the same experience for you. I don't want you to watch a video of it. I don't want you to hear someone talk about it. I want you to do it, because when you do it, something shifts. I'm going to warn you, you can't unshift it. So if you're watching this, I want this experience for you. Again, not because I told you it was real, not because you watched me do it, but because you did it yourself. And then you'll get to sit with what that means. What does it mean if you were told about the physics of this, about my strength, my biology? So that's what I want you to do. Go to Dollar Tree, get some cheap utensils, and start.